What's up guys, welcome to Wasted Space, and we're back in Space Engineers with another episode of my Building a Fleet series. And today we're going to be having a look at my Qatar fighter, which has been designed to fill the role of a superiority fighter slash patrol boat. So something that's used to take out other fighters or protect larger capital ships against other fighters. So the first thing you guys are going to notice is that this has got mods on it again. Don't worry, I have not suddenly turned into a modded only builder. This was started a couple of weeks ago alongside those other fighters, and as you can see it's using the same mod layout as that one was. But I can tell you the next video I've already begun, and that has no mod on it at all, completely vanilla. I will be playing here and there with mods to keep things interesting for myself, because at times it does get a little bit dull just sticking with vanilla blocks. So what we've used here is obviously those thrusters. We have the nice selection of weapons again, and we have the 3x1 armour ramps, which enables me to give it this kind of almost a land speeder look, although I called it the Qatar, which is I'm probably butchering the name, but it is the name of a fisted Indian blade, so one where your fist actually goes around your knuckles and sticks out. Some of you guys might be familiar with it as a weapon from games like Diablo, for example. And so I kind of went for that sort of shape and look, but I've also included these sort of wrap-around wings. Now I know technically you don't need to have wings on a ship like this, but they are a good place to put engines and guns and things like that. But in this case they also offer the ship itself a decent amount of protection. So this separation here helps protect against chain reactions of explosions. For example, those weapons get blown up, they're not going to chain react into the reactor, which of course is buried deep inside the hull in there, and instead are going to be nicely separated away. And at the same time, obviously, we've got protection around the cockpit, and more protection than we would have if this armour was just clamped onto the ship itself. The other thing we've got, obviously, in the wings, we have a couple of these cannons per side designed to aim and lay down some quite heavy firepower on a specific target. We've got decent amount of thrust, and this thing is nice and manoeuvrable and completely survival ready. Made sure of that again. So we've got oxygen, we've got power, we've got cargo, we've got everything we need in there for survival mode. And then we've also got on the front a selection of Gatling weapons, and these obviously they're not Gatling guns, they're 23mm cannons, but they have the same sort of role as a Gatling gun, and by combining them all very, very close together like this, a little bit of separation so that you do a little bit more coverage, but the end result is these are directly in line with the ship, ensuring that all of your firepower is going into the target in a targeted location, and these are great for sawing light fighters in half, basically. The final thing this ship has, which is a little bit different, is if we drop down here, this ship is actually designed to be flown by two people, and this is why I think it makes a good superiority fighter, something that's good at taking out other fighters. And that's because while it's dogfighting one, it can be shooting at others. So you have a second pilot down here whose role is to fire that big old cannon on the front, and that's one of the reasons why I went with mods with this. As we've said, the vanilla weapons, and especially the vanilla turrets, not so great. And the turret's auto-aiming is not so great either. So there's a real big advantage had by having someone manning that gun for you. So that's kind of the layout of the ship. First thing to do, I guess, is give you a quick flight demonstration, and then towards the end of the video I will get someone in to give me a hand, and we will go and take out some targets, and you can see sort of the difference in effectiveness between having someone manning a turret on board, even quite a lightly armoured and small fighter like this. Dive into the cockpit, shut it on ourselves, and as you can see, this is a very nice manoeuvrable craft. Not quite as fast accelerating as the other one, but much, much more capable of strafing and changing direction without losing too much speed. So yes, we did lose a bit of speed on that turn, but you're turning a full sort of 90 degrees, you're only dropping down to about 90 meters a second, and that's really nice. The other thing you can do is you've got a lot of strafing power, so it does enable you to do quite a lot of, as you can see, sideways strafing around targets. Combine that with our reasonably powerful set of frontal weaponry, and if I just toggle 2 here to turn this on, you'll be able to see, even, admittedly this is one of these, so it might take a little while to do this, but you can see how quickly guns like this can cut through a ship. Look, we've caused pretty hideous damage with these guns on the front, and it really wouldn't take much to do the same to even heavy armoured fighters. Turn that off for a second, go into the third person camera, you can see, yeah, we've literally cut the thing in half, and that's what these weapons are great for. Combine them with the cannons, which, of course, this is why I set things up with them constantly firing like that. It enables you to then fire the cannons as well as you fancy. So we can put big holes through this, and, as mentioned, cut the thing in half. Of course, that is one of its functions, but what this thing is going to be a lot better at is flying around with someone manning that turret as well. So you're not having to stop, you're not having to straight go frontal to frontal with other fighters. You've got the advantage of you can just be worrying about piloting, taking out taking pot shots at anything that happens to come in your view as you go around, while your gunner is making merry hell out of all your opposition. So the last thing I'll do is switch over to a little bit of footage of myself and my brother flying this around against some pirates, just to give you an idea of how it can perform in a bit more of a real-life environment rather than me shooting up a stationary target. And hopefully, as you can see, it's not bad. Okay, every fighter's going to have some flaws, and especially if you're trying to make one as light as this. This is, it's under 150,000 kilograms, which, okay, that doesn't sound very light, but for a fighter of this size, that is pretty light, and that's because there's a fair bit of hollow space in there. But because of that, it makes it nice and manoeuvrable, and as you can see, more than capable on its own of dealing with pirate bases. And hopefully also more than capable, once we get the possibility to have these big fleet battles, of fulfilling a pretty important support role in the fleet, making sure that those fighters that are designed to really go out there, and those craft that are really designed to go out there and cause damage to the enemy carriers, capital ships, whatever the main target is, are not under threat themselves. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, please hit like, please hit subscribe. It does really help me in the channel out. And if you didn't, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what I should be doing differently to make things interesting for you. And thanks a lot for watching, guys. I will catch you next time.